From the glory days of the NWA to the birth of the WWF's family entertainment era to the Monday Night Wars and the rise of AEW, this is Wayback Wrestling Mania, where we cover everything in the professional wrestling world with your hosts, Adam and the Emerald Enthusiast.
Welcome, everybody, to an episode of Wayback Wrestling Mania. It's been a long time since I said that phrase. With me, as always, is my co-host, Donnie, the Emerald Enthusiast. I don't think that's because you're a fan of Hurricane... Well, you might be, but the Emerald part is not because you're a fan of Hurricane Helms. For anybody wondering. Yeah, it's Green Lantern related. But I mean, Hurricane Helms was ripping off, respectfully, Green Lantern, so we'll give him credit for that. But, Donnie, welcome back to doing a wrestling podcast. It's been a while.
Thank you, sir. What's up, wrestling fans? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. It is the Emerald Enthusiast. Welcome back to Wayback Wrestling Mania.
WrestleMania 42, we're both, basically, translation is, we've seen them all, and we're both, which means we're both old, but I digress. But I do want to welcoming the fans back to this show. I want to kind of make a pledge that we will do more of these this year. That's what my pledge to the audience is. We will do more of these this year because we did slack on the wrestling side of things. But we'll make an effort to do more this year. And also, I think, Donnie, maybe there should be a little bit of a crossover, given that AEW and DC Comics did a two-part comic book, so we can do a crossover where maybe issue one we'll do on the comic book side of the podcast, and then issue two we'll do on this show, or whatever, vice versa. We'll mix it. We'll figure it out, but we'll do that too. But yeah, I'm pledging here for the fans that we're going to do more of these this year. But Donnie, before we get to the actual show and discussing what we thought of WrestleMania, there were a couple of unfortunate releases in terms of contract and performers.
Fans often refer to this time of year as post-WrestleMania spring cleaning.
Yeah. So there were a couple that you wanted to highlight. I know. So.
Yes, I think the most egregious would be Kairi Sane, because they have been setting up the dissolution of the Kabuki Warriors for months, showing Asuka being very abusive to Kairi, and Kairi kind of building up more and more resentment, and we're not going to get the resolution to that story.
Yeah, now, from what I understand is her contract... this could be a whole lot of nonsense, but what from the what they call those websites, the dirt sheets, quote unquote. But they're saying that WWE did not almost like they forgot to renew, or they haven't renewed the contract. It's not a firing; they just sort of the contract lapsed. So there's potential that
there's still hope, and I think the outcry online has got to kind of tilt things in her favor.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens on that front. But, they got rid of the entire Wide Six faction.
Yeah.
Granted, they weren't really doing all that much with them.
Yeah, other than... Can you think of anything they really did other than feud with the MFT or the MFTs? That's not my favorite name for that group. I like that group, but not that name.
Yeah.
But they've only feuded with them for the last few months, and that was kind of a start and stop type of thing.
And they also released Zelina Vega, which is...
That was a little surprising, yes.
Aleister Black, or whatever he's called in WWE, I can't remember. But anyway, again, they've done stuff with Zelina, but not lately. They kind of haven't. And her husband coming back, you thought maybe there'd be more of a push there, but they just didn't. So that was kind of shocking that those two are gone as well. Most of these names, though, aside from the Wide Six and Zelina and her husband, and Kyrie,
it's people that they haven't used for a while or used very much at all.
Yeah, a lot of these people we never see, so it's not really shocking. like I said, except for those, a couple of them, still disappointing, for those people, no doubt, of course, and I feel for them. That is their livelihood and whatnot. But I think this is a kind of a good reminder to the performers: don't burn your bridges.
Yes.
So, like, if you're leaving AEW to come back to WWE, don't burn the bridge at AEW, because, like, how long ago did Zelina's husband leave AEW to come back to WWE, and now he's out of a job? Now, I don't know if he burned bridges in AEW or not. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying the caution is, keep lines of communication open and pleasant between both, because you never know, right?
Right. And
yes,
in the past, the wrestling business has been famously forgiving if there was money to be made, but we don't exactly know how that's going to go with TKO owning things.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's what I would say. Like, keep your options open. Then don't burn bridges when you leave one place to go back to another, or vice versa. For example, another guy, Andrade, he's like a yo-yo. He went from WWE to AEW, then back to WWE. Now he's back in AEW. So it's
right. Seems to be getting a little bit of traction there, though. So good for him.
Right, and then they're giving him a bit of a push, which is and probably he's better suited over there, just because there's more room on the card for somebody like him, right? So.
Yeah, there are definitely several. I know this is not an AEW podcast, but there are definitely several AEW talents whom I don't want to see leave for WWE right now, because I think they'd get lost in the shuffle. They're doing better where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, we are pro wrestling on this podcast. We like wrestling.
We're gonna cover both here.
Yeah, in its entirety. So
yeah. So I mean, we will do some AEW shows for sure.
We are not tribalistic at all.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same with the comic book side. If you know us,
yes,
you know that we cover both DC and Marvel.
Right.
I like this. The analogy I use is, if AEW, so if DC and Marvel were ladies, DC would be the woman that I bring home to my mother and my family to meet, and Marvel would be the fun, you have a night out and then that was fun. So, let's go our separate ways. No emotional attachment except for Daredevil. I love Daredevil, but that's another podcast. But that's but I like both. I enjoy reading both. I can. And I enjoy watching. Like, I like watching wrestling. It's fun. Like, I love the art form. So yeah, we're pro both, and we'll cover both. And so, but the point I was trying to make is, in situations like this, if you're a performer, it's good. Like, don't. And again, this hurts me to say this, but don't be like Bret Hart, where you're like, how many times did he call after he left WCW crap? He could never. So if this was today, and he did that with AEW, he'd be out of a job right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
what Bret did. I mean, it's too much to get into today. Bret did go through a lot.
He did, but what I'm saying is he's unfortunately he's constantly bitter, and it's like, dude, like, I loved watching you. I loved your character. You're Canadian, so I got the kinship with you. But Jesus Christ, chill out, man. Like, mellow.
Bret was also at a point in his career where he didn't need the wrestling business anymore. Most of these guys and women right now, they do still need the business.
Right. So
you're not at a Bret Hart level.
The main point is, don't burn your bridges.
No, I would agree.
But that is the unfortunate side of the wrestling business. Is these contracts cost money, and when you bring back certain talent, which we'll talk about, that contract costs money, and that's going to come at the expense of somewhere and someone. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So,
well, Triple H recently said that he fields calls every day from former talents who want to come back, and there's only so many spots on the roster.
Right.
Which is why I'm going to rant a little bit about the celebrities being involved later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But let's get right to it.
Okay. Well, let's one little prologue here. Friday Night SmackDown, Royce Keys won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and did the pose with the trophy afterwards.
Nice.
He has come in, for those of you who don't know, I'm assuming most people know him as Powerhouse Hobbs in AEW. The guy's got a lot of talent. He's a little bit on the older side. He's a very believable power gimmick guy, and I hope they do something with him over the next few years because I think he has a lot of potential.
I could just see if they build each of them up properly, eventually I could see like Royce Keys versus Obafemi kind of deal.
Yeah, power on power. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, nobody asked me to book the card or because
you might be able to do it better. Who knows?
I'd have fun doing that. We could do that. Alexa Bliss will get a lot of title opportunities, but that's biased. Well, wait a minute. Since I mentioned Alexa Bliss, and I'll probably do this again later, but she is, Donnie. You're not paying attention to my famous move on the list.
I already knew. I was like, yeah,
I know, but you should be looking at it. And by the way, that's been brought back again. Not an AEW thing, but Jericho brought it back, and I tell you what, I was half falling asleep watching because I was tired and I was watching it recorded. But when I saw that, I perked up and I'm like, it's back! And yeah, I was so happy. Who knew a penny click could make me so happy? But there it is. Anyway, so yeah, let's get right into that. But yeah, that's how I would book it going in the future if things go well.
So Saturday night, April 18th, LA Knight and the Usos defeated Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed.
Okay, here's what I'll say about this match. By the grace of God, it was short.
Yes, it was.
Look, I Show Speed can do some wrestling moves.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Congratulations. But not everybody, and again, I hate admitting this because I don't like the guy, but not everybody can be what Logan Paul has done. Like Logan Paul, again, don't like the guy, but he's proven that he could be a legitimate pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can do that. So yeah, I Show Speed can do some flashy moves, can take a bunch of bumps, but why are we wasting a WrestleMania spot on this guy? Number one. Number two, I mean, the Uso brothers have gotten plenty of, title runs and opportunities, so I'm not disappointed for them, because they'll continue to get opportunities because of who they are and who their family is, and the storyline that entails. But I think Austin Theory's time is wasted here, because I think he's finally in a spot where he could do well. Him and Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. I think they could do some good things together for each other, like for in that sense. And LA Knight is being utterly wasted in a match like this. Like, he's been so he got that hot push, and now it's faded. And I'm like, I don't understand why this guy hasn't gotten more than just a U.S. title reign. Like, this guy should be. If Triple H doesn't want to put the world title on him, fine. I think the fan reaction would warrant it.
And the window's closing, by the way. He's a little on the old side.
Right. But, I mean, listen, hey, Roman Reigns is champion, and look how old he's not a spring chicken either.
Right.
But
neither was CM Punk. I mean, he's...
right. So, I mean, their last two world champions are not they're a combined age of, 80-something? Or maybe 90?
Well, and Cody and Randy Orton, both in their 40s. So.
Right. So, that's not an excuse not to put it on him.
Yeah.
But, and I think the fan reaction to him warrants him getting a title run. But if not the world title, I think he should be in the hunt or in the conversation for the Intercontinental title at the very least.
I'd be fine with that, yeah.
But he's being wasted in a match like this.
No, and I'm going to say here, the Vision, the tag champs didn't defend the titles. The Usos the most decorated tag team in WWE history. They don't get the vie for the titles. Show Speed, I think he was the least objectionable out of all the celebrities who were there because he does have some ability. He's obviously a charismatic guy. He was a natural on camera. But again, It's like Adam said, we don't know who these people are. And I think WWE assumes too much. It's a Star Wars quote, you assume too much.
Yeah.
But I think they assume that you're going to know everybody in the world. And for people like myself, I don't really listen to music. I don't watch reality TV. And sometimes
I don't know who the hell I Show Speed is.
Well, and I don't know who Jelly Roll was. I had never heard the name Jelly Roll before he showed up at SummerSlam a couple years ago. And that's what I'm saying. If you're watching, let's say you're watching a movie franchise, and 3 to 5 movies in, and there are all these characters built up, and you think that the group of heroes at the end, they're about to triumph, and all of a sudden, your Joe Blow neighbor is inserted.
Yeah.
And they're the one who saves the day. I think you'd be a little disappointed. And that's how I feel about many of these celebrities. They may be wonderful people outside of wrestling, but
we know a couple of them aren't really.
No, some of them aren't, and we may have to mention one later on. But anyway,
Logan Paul.
Just a little. Well, no, I'm not talking about Logan Paul. I'm talking about something else.
I am, but we'll get to
Logan Paul. Yeah. He was somebody else. I had no idea. I had never heard.
I had no clue exactly. No clue.
Before Logan Paul showed up in WWE, I'd never heard his name before.
Yeah, and then I looked into him and I'm like, oh, he's got a jackass brother who does the same.
Well, and now I know why he's so controversial. But again, talking about just the entertainment side of things, we spend all year as wrestling fans watching the wrestlers built up within their gimmicks, and that's who we want to see on the big stage. And I have no problem with. They could have told the same story with I Show Speed with him on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And having a tag match for the belts.
No, was it fun to see I Show Speed splash on
if he wants to become a professional wrestler, I think he's a natural at it.
Right.
They could build him up. Look, I mean, if join the Fed, man.
It was fun to watch him splash, on the outside onto a table onto Austin Theory. I mean, that was a great spot, high spot. He pulled it off pretty well. But again, there's nothing to care about with this storyline, and it wastes talents like the actual guys that do this 365 days a year that are in the ring.
Right.
Like, that match had nothing of consequence.
Right.
And that's
just like we just mentioned, okay, so you open up with a celebrity, but they couldn't find a place for Royce Keys.
Right.
They couldn't find a place for Solo Sikoa, who was a main eventer at one point.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. The match offered nothing except for that one spot.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. But I mean, you compare that to where the Usos were 2 years ago, where they main evented a night at WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, I miss Kevin Owens.
Me too.
Yeah,
and he's a Habs fan, so that's saying much. That's saying a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we exchanged pictures one night of we saw that he was at a game, and we're happy that he's healed. We just don't particularly approve of his choice of jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, that shirt, just put one of your wrestling shirts on. Promote yourself. Don't wear that. There's no excuse for wearing toilet paper to a hockey game. Anyway.
So next up we had Jacob Fatu against Drew McIntyre. And a lot of these matches, I could kind of see the booking going either way, like either person or either team winning. But this was one of those. I wasn't exactly sure who was going to win. I thought Jacob Fatu probably, but I wouldn't have been surprised had Drew McIntyre won. This was a no DQ match. And was it no DQ or street fight?
It was unsanctioned, as far as I'm
unsanctioned. Yeah, which all kind of amounts to the same thing.
Which I thought was going to make it more violent. It was less violent than I thought.
Yeah. The thing, and it was a good showcase for Jacob Fatu, who is incredibly over with the fans.
Yeah.
The spot with the wrench, a lot that had the crowd kind of grimacing.
right. Because the thing that I love the way that was a cool moment in the match, because I love the way Drew McIntyre sold it, calling back to the spot with the wrench with Punk.
Punk. Okay.
So,
yeah, Punk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like the fact that he was showing fear was a callback to that, which was cool.
And I think Jacob Fatu is kind of a natural for that kind of match because you can believe that if he snapped on you, that he could just brutalize you.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to piss him off.
He sells that. And the thing is, he seems like whenever I have seen him out of his gimmick, he seems like just such a sweet guy.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Not everybody is. I mean, some of the guys, you kind of believe who they are on screen.
No, but I'm sure he is, right?
But he just seems like a kind of
the
a big
whole
teddy bear. Yeah.
That whole family seems, outside of their persona, they seem like nice people.
Yeah. They're also 49ers fans, by the way. Go Niners.
Okay, so,
Adam has no...
Oh, I know who they are. My cousin is a fan of them, so yeah.
Roman, I don't know if you... Roman actually said... He actually made allusion during the match against Punk. He said, we'll show you how we do this in the Niner gang. And I was like, I don't think everybody knows what that means, but I know what it means.
Right. No. Yeah. I know who they are because my cousin is a fan, right?
Yeah.
So I know, yeah.
So yeah, I like this match obviously a lot better than the 6-man because It was something that had been built up for a while. We saw them, fighting all over the place on SmackDown, and this was a good resolution to that. And I don't think it hurts Drew McIntyre. If you ever need him to come back and be world champion, he can.
Oh, I think he's got another run in him.
Right. But this really positioned Jacob Fatu for what they did on Raw the following night. Because he came out and was like, Roman, I don't want that title. I need that title.
Right. And, look, is he going to win it? Probably not.
But they've been teasing that for a long time. Fans want to see that.
Right. But like I said, I think Roman will still win it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, look, my whole thing with Roman, and again, we'll talk about it more in depth. I really don't want to see another 3 or 4 year reign of him as champion.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen. He's got bigger fish to fry at this point. He's making that transition to the next stage of his career,
which is Hollywood. Basically.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so next up we have Brie Bella and a returning surprise return Paige against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and Nia Jax and Lash Legend in a 4-way for the WWE Tag Team Women's Championship.
I like this match. It was a good match. Too short, which is most of the matches I found this year at WrestleMania. Look, I'm not complaining because I don't want the show to be 4.5 to 5 hours every time, like each night. But some of the matches could have gone a little bit longer. This was probably one of them. It was nice to see Paige back.
Yes.
I mean, I had seen her when she
went
came
through
back.
a lot, and let's just say, I mean, and I know that's not the wrestling persona, that's the person behind the gimmick, but she made a very a questionable decision, but something that shouldn't have led to the kind of backlash that she got, where she was actually suicidal for a while.
Yeah.
And we're glad to see her back and healthy and happy.
Yeah, the main thing to me is these people, you have to understand, and again, these people are human beings. They're going to make bad decisions. Mm-hmm. They're going to say stupid shit. They're going to do stupid things. Certain things are really none of our business as fans. But given her injuries and the fact that there was a point where it was doubtful that she could ever do this again.
You could see that she was having problems with like anorexia and didn't look like the person we knew. She was obviously struggling. So it's heartwarming to see her come back and be the performer that she once was.
Yep. Yeah. And again, like I said, I had seen her back in when she came back to AEW. Mm-hmm. Right?
As Saraya, and again, regained some of her footing, and I think that helped her out here.
Right.
Yeah.
But she comments that one of her statements was that she always thought of herself as a WWE girl, and so when the opportunity presented itself to come back, she took it. And the match was a really good. Like, there were some really good spots. I actually liked the gimmick, the entrance of Lash and
Lash and Nia Jax. They had on the demolition inspired gear.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I heard some people say that they should start calling them Femolition, and I'm like, that's actually a really good name.
I'd actually be okay with that. Sometimes fan suggestions are okay.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think that Nia and Lash should have won this match. I thought it was too early to end their title reign. I know Paige coming back is a big moment, but I don't think she would have been diminished in any way by her team not winning this match.
Well, you know what they're setting up here, right?
Go ahead.
They're setting up the other Bella turning heel.
Yeah. Well, and that was my issue, is that I'm like, this, it's nothing against Paige at all, but I'm like, this isn't a real tag team. So that was my issue. Also, 4-ways are a little difficult to do, especially with 4-ways with tag teams. There was so much going on. It was really chaotic at times.
Right. It is chaotic, because it's like, okay, who's in the ring, who's tagged in, who's not.
Right, and sometimes it's difficult to keep. So, yeah, I would have preferred a different type of match, and maybe, some of these teams divided into 2 matches instead of the 4-way. But again, very rewarding to see Paige come back, and also a lot of good performances from the women in this match.
But it was a good match. The spots were good. By the way, what was that? Was Alexa's outfit supposed to be like a tribute to Bray? The whole.
I believe so. That people were saying that there was that Bray Wyatt symbol.
Yeah.
And I really like that outfit too. Yeah, very colorful, very unique. Yeah,
that was really cool. And it was a cute moment when her and Charlotte were making their entrance, she stopped and hugged her kid, which was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was cute. But like the match was good. It's what I will say. This is a different kind of like for example. We talked about Paige's return, but even the Bellas returning. What I like about their return is that they're willing to further other tag teams along. They help out other tag teams. It's not just about, okay, let us win the title and have a real lengthy championship reign. I don't think that's what they're there for. Mm-hmm. And so I appreciate that when you come back and do something like that, as opposed to, okay, now I'm going to take over. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, yeah. But like I said, this match was really good. I like the spot where I think it was Lash when she had the other 3 women. Like, it was on the top rope.
Yes, right? Lash is incredibly powerful. I never thought that I would say that there might be somebody on the roster who's stronger than both Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, but she might be.
Yeah, but how she like power bomb?
She is just incredibly powerful.
Yeah. When she powerbombed them, all the other 3 from the top rope, or off the top rope when she grabbed them all, that was pretty impressive. So,
I think by sticking her with Nia Jax, they are giving her a little bit of, letting Nia kind of bring her along, and I think at some point you're going to see Lash Legend challenge for one of the women's world titles.
Oh, I think that's inevitable. Yeah. I think that's inevitable. Yeah, without question. But yeah, that was probably my favorite spot of the match for sure.
And next up, we have Becky Lynch defeated AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I'll say this. I have never seen the women's division this deep before, and it's almost an embarrassment of riches, because someone like Becky Lynch, who's been a multiple-time world champion, you can plug her in here to the IC title picture and have her wrestle somebody like AJ Lee, and it was a very interesting match. I really like AJ Lee's. I'm not the biggest fan of AJ Lee, but I really like her finisher. Becky Lynch, this is some of the best mic work she's done in her career. She's really versatile. Yeah. She can pull off heel or babyface very naturally.
Oh, I agree with that. My only issue is, and I get why they gave AJ Lee the title in the first place, the returning, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same idea with Paige. But I don't think I need to see either of these women in this championship spot at this time.
Okay.
I think, they've had their time as champion. I think it's time to give the spotlight and the belt to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the match was good. I like how they played up the fact that Becky hadn't beaten her up to this point. Mm-hmm. Right?
That was good booking, yeah, to set it up that Becky's not capable of doing this.
Yeah,
and showing that she was.
How they each used each other's finisher on the other.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever, right? And still there was an element of cheating on Becky's part because
she does that so well. Yeah.
The turnbuckle, and then she used the ref, right?
Right.
So, and again, in AJ's post-match interview, it's a lot of people were saying, "Oh, she's leaving based on her." I think she's just taking a break, and then she'll be back in time for SummerSlam, and they'll do the return match, is what I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. At SummerSlam, that's my guess. She'll go off screen.
And let's call a spade here. Fans like seeing her and Punk together on screen.
Well, yeah, which is great, but I'm just saying to the people that say, "Oh, the speech was her basically saying goodbye." I think she's just taking a break because she did sign a multi-year deal.
No, I don't think she's done. No.
I think by SummerSlam she'll be back on screen.
Yeah.
But so I did like the match, right? And how they played it with Becky's not able to do this, but I just don't think either of these women need the title at this point.
Okay.
That's my main issue.
Next up, we have Gunther defeating Seth Rollins. And there was a lot of speculation leading up to WrestleMania that Gunther didn't have an opponent. We didn't know how things were going to play out. And it turns out that he attacked Seth Rollins and is now saying that Paul Heyman owes him a favor.
Gee, I wonder what that favor is going to be. Should I spoil it for everybody? Should I tell you?
Well,
we'll save it.
But by this point, most people, I'm assuming you've seen, or at least you know what's happened. Supposedly, the favor was going to be him asking for a match with Brock Lesnar, but that's kind of up in the air now after what happened between Brock Lesnar, or after what happened after the match between Brock and Obafemi.
I still think that's all storyline, but we'll get to that when we get to that part. But the match was good. I liked the match. To me,
I like Gunther's style. It's a nice throwback style. He doesn't.
It's old school.
One of the big issues I have with modern wrestling is there are too many high spots that happen outside of the ring. It gets repetitive. People take too many chances that they don't need to take. They're always jumping through tables and the announce desk. Gunther doesn't need to do that kind of thing. He can make it interesting with maybe just a little bit of that.
Gunther, to me, in his style and stuff, is very much looks like he belongs in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. That's the wrestling that he does. And
he stands out because nobody really does that style anymore.
And also, to be fair, Seth, when I see Seth wrestle and just his character work, he reminds me a lot of Macho Man.
Yeah, you've got a point, yeah.
So I like these two guys. I thought the match was good. I thought it was one of the better matches on night one. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those ones that could have gone... It was one of the matches where I felt like I couldn't predict the outcome. I didn't have an idea of who was going to win. I didn't know.
And there was a big moment after the match, too.
Right, if you want to tee that up and talk about that.
Yeah, that was the surprise, is that Braun Breaker came back and helped Gunther win, and then ran down the ramp and hit Seth with his spear.
Right. So we know they're setting up a Seth and Braun kind of.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was maybe the plan for a while, was going to be Seth and Braun, but then Braun got hurt a couple of months before WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I think that'll probably be a SummerSlam thing, right?
Yeah.
Because SummerSlam is...
they've got to do that at some
big
point.
One, right?
Huh?
SummerSlam is the next. SummerSlam is the next big.
The next big one, yeah. Of course, we have Backlash and King of the Ring, but SummerSlam is.
But SummerSlam is the classic.
The original Big Four, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Those are the ones I consider the Big Four.
Yeah, and those are the ones. By the way, those are the ones we're going to make sure we cover on this show every year. So that but yeah, I think that's where this feud needs to culminate at, in my opinion. But yeah, one of my favorite matches of night one.
Mm-hmm. And the crowd was they're very happy to see Seth back.
Absolutely, yeah. And I like this version of his gimmick over the cackling, rip off Joker persona that he was going for a couple of years ago, whatever it was. Don't bring that back. I don't need that. That was annoying. Yeah.
So next up, Liv Morgan defeated Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship.
Another good match.
And this one was booked very well. I really didn't have a doubt that Liv was going to.
Oh yeah, Liv was going over
win the title,
especially
after she released her video.
By the way, I got to tell you, Liv is moving up the ranks in the multiverse wives order of things, and definitely on the list. But yeah, hey, listen, she wants to do music videos, I'm all for it. That may not be my type of music, but
and you've got to give Liv points for toughness, because we all heard about the spot leading up to WrestleMania where Stephanie Vaquer got a little overzealous and she smashed Liv into Roxanne Perez, and Liv had a legitimate softball size, knot on her head.
That was a bump and a half.
Yeah, that was very, and the funny thing was is that it went down obviously over time, and it just looked like a bruise. And she showed up on some talk shows, and people were like, "Why'd she?" People who don't know about wrestling, they're like, "Why'd she have that fake bruise on her head?" And I'm like, "That was not fake. That was not a work."
Again, I just want to point this out. Yes, the outcome is predetermined. I've never done this. Physically, okay. Let me rephrase. As a stupid kid, me and my friend used to play wrestle, and he did give me a power driver, and it messed up my neck and my walking for a bit, but for a couple of weeks. So yeah, this I can attest. No, I'm untrained, so it's even worse. But this, excuse my language, this shit hurts.
The margin for error is razor thin with what they do.
Yeah. That don't try this at home disclaimer? I should have listened to it back then. Yeah. But I digress. But yeah, so the outcome is predetermined, but the physicality and the toll it takes is
very
real.
Legitimate.
Yeah.
They try not to kill one another, but what they do, there's no way it can't hurt.
Like, for example, and people can say what they want about him and the controversial aspect of it, but I watched the Hulk Hogan, the Netflix documentary, and they're talking about the 17 or however many surgeries, right?
Right.
He had, they showed an X-ray of his back, like his spine, and the way that thing was curved, it's like, what the, how did you move, right? And so it's like, for just as an example, 9 times out of 10, if you look over Hogan's career, he was the main eventer, he was the champion, he was victorious most of the time. But the fact that he did that leg drop as his finisher, imagine, they used to work, 340, 350 days a year back then?
Yeah, back then, yeah. He So according to him, he wrestled 400 days one year.
Well, okay, nobody's discounting his exaggeration.
A little bit of an embellishment there.
But regardless, imagine 350 times a year doing that leg drop, and you're coming down on your tailbone on the mat, which, okay, sure, there's padding there, but there's also planks of wood.
Right.
That compression on your tailbone and your spine, night in, night out, night in, night out. That ain't good, folks.
Right. Well, and you think about people like Sandman or Harley Race talk about, the neck and back problems that they had from doing some of these moves. And it just, again, even with that you're taking it on the mat, there's still force involved.
Right, yeah.
And if you do that a lot over many years, your body is going to rebel eventually.
So when people say it's fake, no, it's predetermined.
Yeah.
And sure, they may cut themselves so that they bleed, so the other person isn't doing it to them, but crap still hurts.
I think I've told you before, Logan's father is, for those of you who don't know, that was my nephew who passed away last year. His father is in the wrestling business, and he's just a manager, but he's taken some shots as part of the show before where I saw the end result, and it was not a worked thing. I've seen him with a chest that looks like hamburger from taking chops from wrestlers. So
yeah, those chops, they hurt me just hearing this.
Yeah. He came to my house one night after a show where he had a headache and a sprained ankle and a chest.
Does he know how to do the chop? Can he do
the chops?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. He's not the biggest guy in the world.
Or does he just take them?
He can do them, but he, as a manager, and usually as a heel manager, he takes them.
Because you know what I'd like to do? I'm assuming he knows some wrestlers, right?
Yes.
Can he send one up here in October and have him chop the entire Leaf team until they straighten themselves out? I'd pay for that.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
All right, let's talk to him about it because. Can you tell I'm still not happy that they're not in the playoffs?
After what we went through this season, I mean, anything to cope. Don't worry, Brad Treliving said. We're going to be bigger and tougher. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Sure. Anyway, but yeah, look, Liv Morgan, again, I like both ladies. I think both ladies did a wonderful job. Stephanie Vaquero did that move that Booker T likes. Let's be honest. I don't like Booker T at all. Yes. I like it too. but so I'm like, hey, me and Booker, man, I want to go for beer with Booker T just so we can discuss. But no, both women are great, in the ring, and again, Liv can hold her own in a wrestling match.
And she's incredibly tough for a woman her size. I mean, she has taken some major bumps over the years, and she gets back up.
But I like that she is the heel, right? Mm-hmm. And so I like that they include an element of her cheating, right? Like she had help. Even though I think she could win a match on her own, accord, just one-on-one. But they had to keep that going because of the fact that she's a heel.
Well, she plays that. She does that gimmick so well, like the evil cheerleader type.
But she's still over with the fans. Yeah. The fans still love her, right?
Well, in some ways, WWE, they've been a victim of their own success. So many people are over. The fans cheer for the heels and the faces.
Yeah.
There's a few people they boo, like Dom, but
well, yeah, but he's a jackass. Nobody likes him.
He's just a product of his deadbeat.
Let me rephrase. I think that's all character work. I'm sure. Right. When he goes home, he's a good human being, but he does the character so well that you want to see him get his ass kicked. Right. And the best thing is when he came out to celebrate with Liv, all you hear is Michael Cole, "You're gonna get your ass kicked tomorrow by the demon." And Michael Cole reminded me of his hatred for Dom is almost on the same level as Jim Ross's was for Triple H.
Yeah. Oh man! Every time back in the Attitude Era, every time Triple H showed up on screen, Jim Ross was like, "I can't believe it." And he would say all kinds of things like that. So
yeah, he would call him an SOB.
Exactly.
I sound like Jim. So basically, folks, just so you have context, I sound like Jim Ross. When I watch a Leaf game, I sound like Jim Ross. Because I've called them all kinds of names in the book.
Yeah. So next up, we have Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship, which I don't understand why they call it undisputed. I'm like, you have another world title, so it's disputed, but whatever. WWE title match. We've been waiting for this one for quite a while. Cody Rhodes versus his former mentor, Randy Orton. Unfortunately, this is one of the matches where they had too much celebrity involvement.
Yeah. I didn't care about Jelly Roll. Again, I don't know who he is. To me, you know what a Jelly Roll is? You know the snack that had that white fluffy pastry
That's probably where his name comes from.
With the jelly inside? That's a Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
This is just some guy who maybe should not eat as many Jelly Rolls, and probably not, like he has got too many tattoos on his face for my liking, but that's just me. So to me, I don't know who Jelly Roll is. Jelly Roll to me is a snack, an unhealthy snack. It's very good. It tastes very good, but it's unhealthy. Just want to point that out.
It's unhealthy. It's good, but it's unhealthy.
You're right. And then Pat McAfee, look, I was fine with Pat McAfee as a commentator, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to see him in the ring. Ever. At all.
And see, the difference between, I mentioned how iShow Speed had kind of a natural charisma. Pat McAfee came off like a fan trying to cosplay a heel wrestler.
Yeah.
It was not a natural thing.
He couldn't even here's the thing. Can you at least this is probably, Randy Orton doesn't have many WrestleMania main events left, probably.
No, he's up there in age, and I mean, he already nearly had his career ended.
So when he's doing the whole, thing on the turnbuckle, let him do that by himself. I don't need Pat McAfee on the other side imitating him.
Yeah. And why who exactly deputized Pat McAfee to come down as a referee?
Yeah, would that have even been legal?
That's what I'm saying. When he came out, I was like, who told him he could do that?
Like if he would have won and it was based on the 3 count of Pat McAfee, does that even count?
That's what I was saying. I was like, is that what they're going to do? That he's going to count 3 and then later on they're going to say, no, that wasn't legal.
Now, I will say this. Thankfully, Jelly Roll or Tattooed Big Man, I'm going to call him because I refuse to besmirch the name of that snack with somebody I don't know. So Tattooed Big Man took Pat McAfee out real quick, so he was kind of a non-factor, which was great. And apparently both men have declined to continue the angle, so we won't be seeing a match between these two. Yeah. Thank God.
I definitely did not want to see that. I thought that maybe they were building for a tag match at Backlash, and I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Well, they were building something, but apparently it's been squashed by both men because they realize the fan backlash is... Like, the fans don't want to see it. So,
well, Pat McAfee said at one point, storyline-wise, that if Randy Orton didn't win the title, that he was done with wrestling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's the door. But so he was a more so a non-factor. But I'll be honest with you. I kind of expected it. I kind of wanted, not expected, but I kind of wanted Randy to win this. To have the chase. Because I think at this point, I think Cody's better when he's chasing a title as opposed to holding the title.
Well, and we saw that with him getting pinned at WrestleMania 39, and then he spent an entire year trying to work his way back to Roman.
Right.
I will say this, though, and I've noticed this in recent months. Cody's not getting the same fan support that he was a couple of years ago. And definitely at WrestleMania, the fans were more pro Randy Orton than they were pro Cody Rhodes.
So, but I've heard, again, based on the wrestling, the kind of dirt sheet sites, that this feud is going to continue. So do you envision a 2 to 3 match set where Randy does win, one more title?
I'm not sure about the title win, but I'm more convinced that they are going to turn Cody heel and have Randy Orton be the babyface, because I don't think the fans want to boo Randy Orton, it seems.
Like that see, I'm thinking he gets one more big win of the title to get him, what would be
15, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So he gets one more big win, and then that is what snaps Cody. Because even though I would have preferred Randy win this, because it's probably one of his last Mania main events. That's why I'm kind of hoping to do a rematch at SummerSlam and he wins at SummerSlam. But what I did appreciate was that you kind of saw the start of Cody going dirty, like doing
yes.
underhanded things.
Remember when he had that exchange with Stephanie McMahon, but she was like, you don't have what it takes to beat Randy Orton. You can't be dirty enough. He definitely was in this match. When Randy got busted open, he worked on that area, and he seemed like he was ready to get down and dirty. And so I agree with what you're saying. I think that's the genesis of the heel turn.
Yeah, and again, this also felt more like an old school wrestling match because there wasn't as many high spots and off the table and off this and off that, and it was more. It was slower. It was more methodical. It was more like it felt like an old school wrestling match.
Well,
so
again, two veterans who really know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and are familiar with one another. It should have been a good match.
Yeah, and it was. I would have booked it a little different.
Right. And also, in the past, whenever a wrestler like physically assaults a referee, it's a DQ. And Randy Orton gave the referee an RKO, and the only way you knew that the explanation for that was the announcers were like, "Oh, he couldn't see because he was blinded," and I'm like, "Does the referee agree with that?"
That was funny seeing the ref take the bump though. I did laugh at that. Anyway, of course it was Charles Robinson because he always.
Well, right? Yeah, you've got a lot of referees out there who they know what they're doing too. So
Charles Robinson is this generation's Earl Hebner, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to double back for a second because I forgot to mention it. I like the interaction between Becky and the ref, because the ref, I don't know if you know this, she's actually training to be a pro wrestler.
Okay.
And so it wouldn't surprise me if one day down the line, right, you see her and Becky Lynch kind of play out this kind of back and forth that they have going. But I just wanted to mention that because I forgot before.
And was it night 1 or night 2 that Bianca came out?
It was the end of night 1, or right before this main event.
So right before this main event. Well, you shouldn't gloss over that. A lot of reporting said that the original plan for Jade Cargill was to go head-to-head with her former tag partner, and Bianca came out and revealed why she's been gone since last WrestleMania, that she is pregnant, very pregnant.
Yeah.
So now we know why we haven't seen her or Montez Ford that much.
And congratulations to her.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And think about this. There is such an embarrassment of riches right now. I think I've already said that. But you have, Rhea Ripley, who's still young.
Well, the women's division is disgustingly strong.
Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill,
hold on, wait.
Charlotte Flair, and now
keep going.
But now you have Bianca who's going to come back. You have Naomi who's going to come back. All of these are women who are well-rounded enough to hold the world title. Some of them have held multiple titles.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to think about some of these dream matches that we have yet to see.
100%. Yeah.
All right. So let's take a break, and we'll get back.
That ends night 1.
That ends night 1.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
On the other side, we're going to do, surprise, surprise, night 2.
Night 2.
We'll be right back.
All right. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast. For all of your multiverse viewing and listening needs, check out our shows, which include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, the Marvel Universe, and the DC Universe, including the Emerald Echo podcast. You can check us out on Podbean, and remember to subscribe right here on YouTube. That's the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network. From the first podcast to the last.
And we're back with night 2 of WrestleMania.
Indeed we are. And I kind of had a feeling that overall this night was going to be a little stronger than night 1. And I feel overall that it was.
Oh, definitely.
So I'll just start saying that by saying that.
So the first match, this is a match that in retrospect, if we look back years from now, this might be the most meaningful match because it could have launched the next big star, and that being Obafemi, who we saw defeat in definitive fashion Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And the crowd just erupted when Oba came out.
I wouldn't call it a squash match, but,
No, Brock got his licks in, but Brock doesn't usually take definitive pins like this.
Right, absolutely, yeah. But you're right, the crowd loves Obafemi. He's so like big and monstrous. I kind of wish he wouldn't do that funny kind of hopping around thing that he does.
Well, I did notice that when he got to the ring, he was all business.
Right, but before that, the whole just cut that out.
That's fun. That's fun to do, though. I've been doing.
I know it's fun to do, but somebody that big and imposing.
When he eventually becomes a heel someday, I don't see him doing that. But that's kind of I liked it. So yeah,
it's okay. It's fun.
It's different.
I'll do that when the Leafs get back into the playoffs. I'll be
if we can.
Sauntering to my TV when the Leafs get back into the playoffs.
I'll be 100 and you'll be 90 and we'll be...
It's going to be that long before they get back into the playoffs. I'm not talking about a cup win. I'm talking about the playoffs.
Oh, no, I'm talking about a cup. I can dream, can I?
Yeah, the cup win is going to be me doing the Ric Flair strut in my underwear and then falling on my face. That's what. And yes, there'll probably be Maple Leaf underwear too, if you're wondering.
Oh boy, well that's a different podcast. Anyway.
And that's not the mental image you want to leave most.
But Oba was incredibly quick during this match. It was kind of a brutal exchange. He took a couple of clotheslines from Brock, and then and Brock gave him the F5, and Oba stayed down just long enough for Brock to turn around, hits him with the choke slam, eventually gets the pin. The crowd erupts, and I'm glad that WWE went the right direction with this match.
I got to give credit where credit is due. For Brock to be able to pick up a guy like Obafemi, man.
Well, and vice versa, for Oba to pick him up and hold him here in front. He's a very powerful man. And won't go into detail here. We know there's some controversy away from the ring with Brock Lesnar. Yes, that's very serious, but at least give Brock credit here for doing the right thing.
We're just talking about the performance.
Yeah, supposedly he handpicked Obafemi to be the guy to beat him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're just talking. And as a performer, I got to give credit where credit is due. As a performer, he's always been willing to put another person over. Like he did it for Roman, he did it for Seth, and now he did it for Oba. Right, so. Got to give him credit for that. Yes. Again, he may or may not be a decent human being based on things that are still being litigated.
Yeah.
But just by a performance basis, or as a performer, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was definitely the right direction to go.
Yeah. And it achieved exactly what it set out to do, and that was to get Obafemi over as a main eventer, somebody who in the very near future will challenge for one of the belts.
I think this is a rare example of a proper build going from NXT all the way up to WWE for Obafemi. Mm-hmm. This is the way it should be done. How they've handled him. So well done on that regard. And then in terms of the ending of the match that you alluded to,
yes,
Brock takes off his boots and leaves him in the ring and kisses the mat, and then there's emotional tears involved, and he hugs Paul Heyman, and then he walks off seemingly in retirement. And then you get the backstage segment of Paul Heyman thanking Gunther, right?
Right.
And then Gunther saying, you owe me a much bigger favor than a thank you. So I think this quote-unquote retirement is very much storyline driven.
Okay. I'm kind of 50-50 at this point. So
I think the favor is still going to be Brock Paul Heyman convinces Brock to come out of retirement for SummerSlam to face Gunther. And then Gunther will beat him, and then that'll be the official.
Yeah, since that is Gunther's gimmick.
There'll be a stipulation of, okay, if Gunther beats Brock retires.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm on the fence at this point because it was a convincing looking ending, the way they did it.
The only way that doesn't happen is if more allegations come out
and that's possible too. And again, we're not going to get into that here. Very serious allegations, but we're just talking about the show. So
that's not our purview.
Yes.
That's beyond our. I mean, it's all that stuff is very disturbing.
And you can look it up and read all you want about that, and it's definitely not something we want to talk about on the podcast.
We don't condone that, obviously, at all. It's so if any of that stuff happened, it's deplorable. But we're just focusing on the show here.
Yeah. So next up in a ladder match, we got Penta El Cerro Miedo defeating Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Rusev, JD McDonough, and Rey Mysterio, who had on Deadpool-inspired gear.
Right. I love that Rey Mysterio is such a nerd and a comic book fan. I just love it.
I like it. He might be a deadbeat dad, but at least he likes comics.
I mean, the jury's out on his father's skills because look how Dominic turned out. But I love that he's a comic book nerd. And do you talk about wrestling hurting? There ain't no way any of these performers went through that match and came out unscathed.
Yeah.
Like, this is career shortening stuff.
And Penta and Rey Mysterio have been doing this for a long time.
I don't know how they can still get up. Like, I have a strain, not a strain, but I have a sore tendon in my foot. When I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, that hurts. I can just imagine. Can you imagine these guys getting up Monday morning?
I mean, I've heard it said before that when you're in professional wrestling for a long time, you have to get out of bed in sections, that it takes a while,
Yeah.
And I will say this too, also, Javon Evans, he's part of that new group of guys that they brought in. He might not be a world champ, but he has the ability, I think, to be on the roster for a long time.
Oh, I think in the future he'll get one of the mid-card titles.
Yeah, he is incredible, and I think they could give him a little bit more gimmick in the future, but you see a guy there who has just so much ability and seems to be very likable and a natural on camera that I can't wait to see where his career goes.
Like I think he could be a U.S. champion or an Intercontinental champion.
And he's the kind of guy who can give you, I think, very memorable matches. So
yeah, and kudos for Rusev getting in a match like this.
Yeah, the thing is, he hasn't won a lot since he came back, but the guy does whatever is asked of him, and he's definitely believable. So,
oh yeah, he's another one of those guys where just looking at him, I don't want to piss that guy off.
Exactly. So next up for the,
I will say the one spot, wasn't it the one where I think it was Ray that took a power bomb onto one of the ladders?
Mm-hmm. Oh, ouch!
Outside of the ring.
Actually, wasn't it a Mexican destroyer?
Yeah.
Oh,
but it was Ray that took it, right?
Yes.
And I think, was it Penta that gave it to him?
Penta gave it because that's one of his signature moves.
And it's just like, I'm like, ow! Like, even I said to that one, I'm like, ugh, how does that not?
It's gotta hurt. Doing anything on a ladder, it's gotta hurt.
But how does that not break something?
Right.
Like, I don't care how careful you are. Like, okay, I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do. Because there's what's his name? Santino Morello runs a wrestling school in close to Toronto. I'm going to put out a challenge right now. Mitch Marner, when your playoffs are done in about a couple of days, come back. We'll go to that school, and I'll try that move on you. I'll power bomb you through a Mexican destroyer. I'll call it a Maple Leaf destroyer just because
Well, actually, it's also called a Canadian destroyer.
I'm changing the name though, the Maple Leaf destroyer. And I'll do that to Mitch Martin. And we'll see if I just want to see if it hurts. And how bad it hurts. Okay, so what do you say, Mitch? Come on. And I will donate it to charity.
Okay.
I will donate some proceeds to charity. How about it? Come on. That's a Leaf. You know, all Leaf fans, lad. Take the bump, jackass. Take the bump. Anyway, continue.
All right, so in the next match...
Spencer's going to be my manager. That's why I call him up here. We'll do the whole thing.
So the next match, we have a new Intercontinental Champion, that being Trick Williams, defeated Sami Zayn for the title.
Good. I like this. You know why? Because Sami Zayn is a Montreal Canadian fan. And they deserve to lose. So
Sami Zayn seems to be another guy that they're kind of building towards like a frustration heel turn.
Heel. Yeah.
At the same time, Trick Williams, they bring him in as a heel, and the fans don't really seem to want that. They want to cheer him.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get turned again. Because he was a babyface in most of his...
And he comes
NXT
off
run.
kind of like a babyface, like an arrogant babyface, but a babyface.
It's kind of hard, yeah. It's kind of hard to hate that guy. He's
Cool.
Like,
that jacket he wore was awesome.
He's like a modern day Booker T, if that makes any sense.
Like he really has connected with the fans. And he's a guy natural on camera, and
well, he's got the charisma for sure.
He's got it in spades. So but Sami Zayn looking very frustrated and disillusioned after the match. And I think there's a heel turn in the near future.
Well, he can go watch the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs now. Whatever. You want to talk about a frustrated heel turn? You and I are going to turn heel real soon if the Leafs don't shape up. But yeah, no, I mean, I think you know, Trick deserves a good run. I could see Trick Williams eventually being in the world title picture as well.
Yes, definitely.
It can't always, like, as much as you want to, like, you envision Oba being there one day, and, you know, Roman kind of teased that, you know, in the post show.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't always be the huge guy, like the massive monster type guy, physically being a world champion, right? You know what I mean?
Well, he's got to have challengers, and that could be the kind of thing that they could.
That could be like a David, considering how big Obafemi is, and look, Trick Williams is a well-built guy, but he's nowhere near the size of Obafemi. So that could be like a David versus Goliath kind of.
And they've worked together before, and that's the kind of thing they can build on as that, you know, kind of rivals throughout their career.
Yeah.
So in the next match, we have the United States Championship. Finn Balor, dressed as the Demon, defeated Dominic Mysterio. Again,
I'll say good, because anytime it's fun watching Dominic Mysterio get beat to smithereens.
This was a great back and forth match, though. These guys know each other well. Yeah, and it really was a great match. And again, if you like the theatrics of the Demon, not everybody does, but
I like him as a Demon.
A lot of color and a lot of, you know, again, bringing that extra layer of personality from Finn Balor into the ring.
Here's why. Finn Balor, when he's just Finn Balor, seems like an average Irish guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Again, no disrespect to average Irish guys. I'm sure you're all cool and all, right? But I kind of miss... There's an element of me that misses the characters, you know, like the Undertakers, the Kanes, the Mankind. I miss those. They're not there anymore.
Yeah, that's something that I'll say. I mean, too many wrestlers, they come in and they give them a different name, and that's all the development. Yeah. You know, I like the fact when they develop people, you know, help them with their gimmicks on screen instead of just throwing them into the ring and saying, well, let the fans evaluate them.
Like, even, for example, like, just going back to before, Trick Williams doesn't have like a demon type of gimmick, but he's got the charisma, the showmanship,
right?
That he's like a Booker T, and just like Seth Rollins is like a Macho Man, right? There's so few of those guys, right?
Trick Williams kind of has some kind of Ric Flair vibes to him too.
Yeah, Ric Flair, exactly. And so, like, I like those extra showman guys, and the Demon is like one of those things, right? And so I like him as a Demon. Also, he becomes more. Seems like he becomes more violent, more aggressive in that.
Right.
So I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
So next up, we have a match that I was very, very much anticipating, and that was Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill. Rhea Ripley won the WWE Women's Championship, and I have got to say, give them both credit. The finisher for this match, when Jade had her up, and Rhea slipped through her legs and turned it into her finisher, the Riptide. That was incredible. The dexterity there and the timing on both of their parts.
Yeah.
This was a great match. I thought this was going to be better than a lot of people were expecting, and you really saw why both of these women are big stars in this company.
They're both so talented. The match could have gone either way, really. And honestly, I didn't have a feeling of who was going to win this one. I literally thought at the start of the match it could go either way.
I thought that Rhea was going to win just because it's been a while since she had one of those big singles titles. But
That's
think
true.
about it. Jade Cargill's only 33. This is not going to be her last title reign.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's a feud that's going to continue for sure.
Yeah. And she is somebody else. Her physique is incredible. And the things that she can do, and I know some people criticize her for lack of a huge move set, but to me, she's somebody who doesn't need to do an abundance of moves. She can do a few moves very well, and that's all she needs to do.
And also, I think it was this match as well. Didn't they also do each other's moves?
Yes.
Yeah. I like when they do that. As long as it doesn't...
It shouldn't happen too often, but if you're going to do it, WrestleMania is the place to do it.
As long as
I liked when Randy Orton tried to beat Cody Rhodes with the Crossroads.
Yeah.
That look he had on his face before he gave it to him.
Yeah. No, but as long as it's not I like it as long as it's not the ending to a match. I don't want, I wouldn't want Cody Rhodes to get beat by Crossroads per se, right? But I like that the opponent tries it,
right?
If that makes any sense at all.
So you didn't like the end to Survivor Series '97?
Well, no, I didn't like the end of that. But listen, you know what? Here's what I chalk that up to. Nothing good comes out of Montreal. Okay? Especially their hockey team. And it was in the building. So, what do you expect? There you go. Nothing good comes out of the building.
By the way, also got to mention George Kittle was in the crowd here.
Right.
Yeah.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Another one of my favorite players, George Kittle, coming back from an Achilles tear. So
wasn't he drinking a lot? He was the one drinking a lot of beer.
He was drinking a whole lot. I was like, okay, let's not do that during the season, George.
I sort of hope not. Listen, I think because my cousin is a 49ers fan and you're a 49ers fan, I may adopt them as my team because I don't have a football team.
Come on.
And I can't cheer. I can't cheer for Buffalo because what's his name? What's the guy, the quarterback there?
Josh Allen.
Thank you. There it is. I can't cheer for them because he's married to one of our multiverse wives, and that's unacceptable.
Okay.
And so, I think the 49ers are going to be my team starting next year.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing. When's the last time they won?
Okay, they have won. The last time they won a championship, they went all the way, was 1994. Technically,
close enough.
They have been to the Super Bowl 3 times since then, and they've lost all 3, unfortunately.
See, but it's a better average than the Leafs. I'm on board. All right, we're good.
They've been really good for the better part of the last 15 years. They've been really close, and they just.
So I'm going to be the Tide Turner. They're going to win. They're going to win next year because I'm tuning in, and then you're all going to have to acknowledge me. How about that, Roman Reigns? Get ready. I'm challenging Mitch Martin and Roman Reigns. I'm going nuts today.
And before the main event, there was another segment that the crowd seemed to really like, and that involved Kit Wilson and Miz and John Cena, who, by the way, I like John Cena a lot better in this role than as a wrestler, and Danhausen, who brought out many Danhausens.
Yeah.
And he hit The Miz as the overweight character in Austin Powers would say, right in the mommy daddy button.
Yeah. Fat bastard is so good. Look, normally this would annoy me, but I was laughing.
Yes.
Danhausen makes me laugh.
It was there to fill time, and that's what it did.
And also,
did you see the skit where he broke into Miz's house?
Yes. That was, look, I just want again. I'm gonna go right back there. Danhausen has a penchant for curses, right?
Right.
I got somebody who can curse in Vegas who wears number 93. Danhausen, call me. We can work something out.
If he could curse Sam Bennett, I'd appreciate that.
Him too. Yeah. Him, man. I'll give you a list. Not that list, but another list. I got more than one list, folks.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on the other one. You want to be on the Multiverse Wives list, but not the other one. So, yeah, Danhausen, give me a call.
Danhausen, who, by the way, his merch evidently sold just like gangbusters over the weekend. He's really connected with fans. And you know what? Not every wrestler needs to be a main eventer like Roman Reigns or something. There are some guys who... they're mid-card guys who connect with fans, and that's what Danhausen's done.
And not everybody's cut out for the main event, role, right?
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Right, and I think he's going to be a great ambassador for WWE.
Sure. I mean...
he also loves comic books, so that's a...
Hey, maybe we should get him on the show.
I would love to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
So next up we have...
we should get Spencer on this wrestling show. Why don't we do that?
We got to have him on at some point.
Yeah.
Next up, the big main event, and that...
is he going to watch this?
I'm going to send it to him.
All right, Spencer, listen to me. Come on, you got to come on our show now. Like, if you're going to be my manager for this Mitch Marner confrontation, we got to have a strategy. You got to be my Paul Heyman.
Okay.
I was going to say Donnie could be, like Sonny or something, but I don't know if
I could be like a mini Big Show.
Yeah, well, there we go. You could be the Big Show.
Yeah, the medium show.
You can knock him out with one punch. After I put him through the ladder. There we go. It's all coming together.
So the big main event that has been much anticipated for, they've been building this really for a couple of years now. Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk in what was, my opinion, the best match of both nights. And
absolutely, no question about it.
Really an incredible main event. Two guys who are at the top of their game, despite CM Punk being a little over the hill physically. But the match was incredible. I love the story that they told. And I really like the fact that there wasn't any outside interference. That the shenanigans that went on, like Punk throwing the tape to throw the low blow against Roman Reigns, it was stuff that he did in the ring. They didn't have to involve everybody in the company.
Yeah. No, and again, I think this reminded me of a title match that we saw in the Golden Era in the 80s. Mm-hmm.
They had one exchange near the end that was, Roman had the choke in, and Punk turned it into a roll-up, and then Punk got out of it. Then Roman got out of it, turned it back into another choke, and it was chain wrestling over and over and over. We had a lot of false finishes, and eventually the story was that CM Punk simply wore out. He had
both guys tried the other guy's move, which was cool. Like, again, I like that. But you know what's important, I think, about this match is that you're right. Because I think you and I both know that Roman was going to win. But they positioned it in a way, like you said, the storyline unveiled to make it look like, as much as he tried, CM Punk just wore out.
Right. He had Roman up on his shoulders, was going to deliver another GTS, then his legs buckled.
He wore out faster than Roman.
Right.
Is the thing. So what I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, throughout the course of the match, did Roman not do 3 spears in total?
Yes.
So it took 3 spears for Roman to beat CM Punk. That positions CM Punk still very strongly. Like, he lost nothing.
And it looked like the next night they kind of set up he and Cody for a future event.
And again, that could be so maybe Orton isn't the guy that does it. Like, maybe what happens is what I could see, what I can, because doing Punk and Cody right now, I think hold off on it just a bit. Now that you mentioned, you reminded me of that. Here's how I would play it. Again, I'm not a booker. I'm not Vince in his prime booking these things. I mean, I could book a show better than Vince now,
right.
But now he is what he is.
I was gonna say,
and we'll just leave it there.
Yeah. We could use a lot of adjectives.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice about it, but I can't, so I just leave it there. But what I would do is I would have the rematch with Randy. Have it so that Randy gets really close, and the only way that Cody can hang on to that title is by becoming a heel and doing more, illegal things.
Sure.
And at the end of the match, let's say he just destroys Randy, right? Mm-hmm. With chairs and you name it, he does it. Then that's the thing that snaps CM Punk and says, okay, now I'm going to do the title shot because he's the villain now, and I can be the hero that the fans cheer
and
for.
they would definitely be behind Punk. Punk is as over as he's ever been.
Right. And so that's when you do. So maybe Backlash is where you do the rematch between, right? Mm-hmm. Between Cody and
Randy Orton.
Yeah. And then SummerSlam is when you do the Punk. The Punk, like you go.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is that's going to be the build to SummerSlam.
King of the Ring is the setup, and then SummerSlam is the That's how I do it. So okay, there we go. Look, Triple H, come on. We're feeding it to you on a spoon here. All I'm asking, give me Alexa Bliss's number.
But we talked about before we started the broadcast here, kind of what our ratings are. I would give night 1 a C. I'd give night 2 a B, and I would say they average out to about a B minus.
Yeah, night 1 is a C. Some good, but just again, a lot more filler. Things were too quick.
Yeah. And I noticed some fans complained about that. Too many ads and that the matches were too short.
Yeah, there were way too many ads. And the matches were too short. Yeah. Like somebody posted like the times. And
yeah.
It was just like,
I really hate the Slim Jim table, by the way. That makes everything look so fake. I hate it.
No, the worst thing is, like, I can't tell you how many commercials I saw for the Street Fighter movie, and it's like, I know, it's coming. I know, Roman is in it. I know, Cody
is in it with the ridiculous hair, yes.
We get it. Can we move on now?
I know the hair is accurate, by the way, so don't get on me.
I'm probably still going to watch the movie because I like Street Fighter.
Sure, I'm going to watch it, yeah.
I'm just saying, enough. But yeah, so C minus or C. What did I say? C.
You said C for the first day.
Yeah, C for the first day. I'm gonna give night 2 a B plus. I like the matches more, and it felt more like. This is gonna feel weird, but it felt more like WrestleMania.
Right. Well, like I said, a lot of big things happened. A lot of matches that we had really anticipated, and I said, I think. There may come a time when we look back on this and say this was the genesis of Obafemi, the main eventer.
Yeah. The genesis of Obafemi, the genesis of Cody versus CM Punk, So, and a lot of people want to see that match as a title match. So, yeah, still fun.
And
look, I'll say this again. I did like that because this is where it all started for me. The Andre versus Hogan at WrestleMania 3 was awarded the match, the greatest match, WrestleMania match, or whatever the exact title was that it was given and the award. I agree with that rating for the simple fact that was it the greatest technical match you're ever going to see? No. That's not what either of those two guys are. But that match created a moment that launched pro wrestling to where it is. To like what we're seeing now and what we've seen for a couple decades now was launched by that moment, right? And WrestleMania, one of the things that makes WrestleMania so great is because of the moments, right?
Right.
And that was like when I saw that, that's what cemented my love for professional wrestling. So I agree with that ranking.
Well, and as you know, I was there. Obviously, I was a teenager.
You weren't there
at that time. I wasn't there. There. No, the first one I saw live, I think, was 6 because the first 2 were on closed circuit TV. You had to go.
Oh, were you weren't here for 6, were you?
No, I was not up there for 6. I mean, I was watching on pay-per-view.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say, that was sold to us as Andre had never lost, which wasn't true, by the way.
But we had never seen him lose.
But a lot of people who just watched WWE, they didn't know that. I knew that because I read like a lot of the dirt sheet magazines, or the kayfabe magazines back then. But it was sold as Andre being undefeated, and Hulk Hogan trying to do something that had never been done before. And for a lot of people bought that because they had never seen Andre's losses, which happened far back in the past from 1987.
Yeah. No, so that moment, like it just transformed my. Like that was the thing, right? And I could remember years after watching with my my grandfather used to be. I think I've told the story on the Leaf podcast. When my grandfather used to babysit me, often on Saturdays, because my parents would go out on Saturdays. There were 3 things that I could count on that me and my grandfather would watch. In the morning would be repeats of The Price is Right, because he used to love The Price is Right. We'd watch wrestling, because wrestling used to be on in the afternoon, around lunch hour, remember?
Yeah.
I think, what was it called? Saturday morning Superstars or whatever?
Superstars,
yeah. And my grandfather used to, like, when he used to see Mr. Fuji take his shoe off and throw it in the ring at a wrestler, like, that would be the funniest thing to my grandfather. Like, he would laugh hysterically. And then we'd watch the Leafs hockey at night. And so that moment and then those subsequent years watching wrestling with my grandfather, those are things I remember vividly, right? So that moment changed everything. And I was one of the kids. I was one of the kids that ate the vitamins because Hulk Hogan said, eat your vitamins. Say your prayers, so every night.
And I had every LJN figure I could get my hands on.
So I bought into the again, I'm not talking about the stuff that Terry Bollea did, right? Or who he supported politically. Look, much like Hulk Hogan is a character, Superman is a character, right? I'm talking about Hulk Hogan, the character. I bought that character, like that was and again, I'm using quotations because it was a real life superhero. Like, because Superman was the movie I watched, the cartoon I watched. Like, I couldn't physically go up and shake Superman's hand, but I could Hulk Hogan. I did years ago at a Comic-Con. I went and I didn't have, because I went to a Comic-Con later. Like, I decided to go with my friend later, and he had a pass to go get a picture.
I do like that a lot of wrestlers are included in Comic-Cons now.
Yeah, like, so he had a pass to go take a picture with Hulk Hogan. He didn't want to leave me out of it. He goes, would you want to pitch in $50 and I'll come in, you can come in the picture too. I'm like, sure. No, I didn't know I was getting a picture, because if I did, I would have worn one of my Hulkamania t-shirts. I didn't expect to be taking a picture, And so I had a Batman t-shirt on. So, and again, put Terry Bollea and his offenses to the, or what he did, what he didn't do, to the side for a second. I'll tell you that, like, going, as we walked up, we were in line, and there were two people ahead of me. So we see it was, he had Bischoff with him, and he had Jimmy Hart with him. So you see Jimmy Hart, he's like, I used to watch with the megaphone, and you see Bischoff, and you do the whole, you mimicking the NWO thing. So we get in line, and we're standing in front of, Hogan's here, and we're here, and we're waiting to take his picture. And I still, even though he has shrunk because of the back surgery, you still got to look up at him. And it's like, in that moment, I'm doing this, and I wasn't 30 or whatever I was back then. I was literally 6 years old again, looking up at this guy thinking, this is the real life Superman that I watched on TV, and I'm going to get to shake his hand now. So, and it all stems from that moment when I saw him slam Andre. So I'm glad that moment won, because that moment was so transformational for me. But also, it was really nice to see Jimmy Hart there to commemorate the moment, to see Andre's daughter there, and to see Nick there. I thought it was really nice to see the three of them there. I thought it was a really good moment.
Yeah. And I definitely wish the best for Andre's daughter too, because she's talked about how wrestling kind of kept him away from her a lot. And
well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you hope that the business can give back to somebody who, she had to make a sacrifice too, sacrificing her dad so he could be out there. So
can any of these guys who have a family really, how much time do they get to spend with their kids? Right?
It's an issue for many wrestlers, especially if you watch Dark Side of the Ring. That's touched on a lot, especially back in the 80s and 90s. It was such a grueling schedule.
I mean, now it's probably a little bit better because of the schedule, but still they're away from their families. And again, look, they know what this is. They sign up for it, but it still takes a toll on everybody involved. So you got to respect that. And again, right, I'm glad that she's part of the proceedings to get that adulation too. But overall, I think I had fun with this WrestleMania. It got us a chance to revive this show, revitalize this show, and we'll be back again soon. We might even do Backlash, because we've done Backlash in the past, right? So maybe we'll continue with that. Let's see what the card looks like, and we'll definitely be back for SummerSlam for sure. Even King of the Ring is a big event, so we'll throw King of the Ring in there. But we'll be back to do more of these. We hope you enjoyed our wrap-up of WrestleMania. Donnie, if people want to talk more wrestling with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky as the Emerald Enthusiast. You can also check out my YouTube channel, that is also Emerald Enthusiast, for lots of pro wrestling collectible reviews.
And you can find me at Adam_LeafFan. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky. We have a Facebook group for the superhero stuff. And I'll put this podcast in the group too. If you want to join Facebook, the group, I'll put the link in the description. You can, and we can discuss there further. But as we go, we'll say WrestleMania is forever. From whatever your first WrestleMania moment was to the last. So long, everybody.
So long, everyone.